Hey everyone, and welcome to this tutorial on using our online databases in order to conduct good research for a research project or research paper. So the first thing I need to show you is how to access your school's online databases. So in order to do this, simply open up a Google browser and type in NGC Library. Okay, the first result that comes up will be a link to our library website. So if you click NGC Library, it will take you to our library homepage. Now, once you're on the homepage, you're going to see across the top of the homepage a variety of different pages on this library website. In order to access the online databases, you need to click Symbaloo. This will take you to all of the online resources that we have available for you as a student at NGC. Now, if you're doing research, most of your helpful online links and resources are going to come in these first two tiles, okay? So if you need to know, like if we have a book in the library, like an actual physical resource that's going to help you, you're going to want to use one of the first two tiles to search our catalog. If you need to cite an actual physical resource, we have citation creators here on the second half of the first row that will help you build a citation for like an actual newspaper article or a book that you found in the library. But if you're wanting to use our online databases, okay, that's what you're going to find here in the second and in part of the third row. I'm going to show you today the three research tools that I think are going to be the most beneficial to you when it comes time for actually completing your research. The first one I want to show you is Ebsco. It is this last tile on the right-hand side on the second row. It's got a white background, blue circle. It is called Ebsco. Now, if you're accessing Ebsco from home, you don't need to log in because you're on a school's network. However, if you're logging in at home, you may need a username or password, okay, and that is right here at the bottom of the tile. So to access Ebsco, simply click on the tile and it will take you into the database. Now, Ebsco is a huge database. It has lots of different resources that have been peer-reviewed and verified by experts in the field. So once you click on it, you actually need to tell it, well, what part of Ebsco do you want to search? So if you scroll down here on the right-hand side, the fourth one down says Explora High School. So this is the part of the database that has been designed specifically for high school students. So once it comes up, you're going to see the home page and popular search topics and featured content and things like that. But usually if you're getting into Explora, you know what you're looking for, or Ebsco. So for example, let's say I am researching social media. You can simply type in your search and it's going to immediately bring up a lot of results. That's one of the reasons I like Ebsco, is it has a pretty wide search. So you can see right here at the top, the results, 151,924. That is a lot of research for you to sift through. Like, honestly, nobody has time to go through 151,000 articles. So another great thing about these databases is they do make it very easy to narrow your search down pretty quickly. So right here at the top, you're going to see options for filtering down your research. So finding the article that best fits what it is you're looking for. So for example, right here, all time. If you click on this, it's going to ask, when you're looking for research, when did you want it to be published? Did you want it published in the last 10 years, the last 5 years, or the last 12 months, within the last year? Social media is something that changes very often, and what it looked like 10 years ago compared to what it looks like now, very, very different. So we might want to say, I only want things that were published in the last 12 months, last year. So now my results have been narrowed down to 9,778. That's a lot better. It is still pretty broad. Another option you have for narrowing is by source type. Now, if you decide to go to college, there's a good chance you are going to have a professor that says you have to do a research paper and you have to cite 2 newspaper articles, 2 academic journals, 1 encyclopedia, and 1 magazine. Now, that does not mean you have to go into the university library, into the basement, and start digging through old newspaper articles. Like, you can actually do this right here on this database. So let's say I only want to see the academic journals, okay, because those sound the most professional. Hit apply. So now your results have been narrowed down to 657. So that's still pretty good, but you'd still have another option for narrowing. Underneath the search bar, you have the option for an advanced search. If you click on that, it's going to give you the option to narrow your search by keyword. So let's say with social media, I want to look up articles related to social media and teens. Okay, if you're really specific, you can add another keyword. But keep in mind, you can always keep narrowing your search down. So let's say, okay, we're still doing the last 12 months. We're going to do social media and teens. Let's hit search. Now our results are down to 14. Now, there may come a time if you're putting your limiters on that your results may get down to 0 because you were a little too specific. You can always go back in and remove a limiter to broaden your search back up. Okay, it's always good to get really narrow to start and then broaden back out because you know you're going to start with the most relevant research related to what you're looking for. So once you have narrowed your search and you're happy with the articles that have come up, you now need to start accessing it. So with your results, you're going to see the title of the article, you're going to see a little abstract with what the article's about, you're going to see keywords in the article and so on, and you're going to have the option to access. Some of them will say ebook, which is an actual ebook on the database. Some will say access now, PDF, and some will say access options. If you hit the drop down arrow, it's going to give you two options here. Online full text means that the article is going to look like what you would see on a website. You know, it's a digital article. Whereas a PDF is going to look more like it actually appeared in the physical journal or physical magazine. I'll admit I prefer PDF, so I'm going to hit PDF option. Okay, so now here's my article that I'm going to use for my research. I can read through it and highlight it and decide what it is I actually want to use in my paper. But if I'm going to use it in my research, there's a couple things I need to do with it. The first thing is save it. Always save all of your research as you go, because the last thing you want to do is to have to go back later and try and find an article again that you've already found, because that is very difficult and it wastes a lot of time. So if you even think you're going to use it, go ahead and save it. So you have a couple options for saving. Up here on the right-hand side, your first option is to download. Now, if you're on your personal iPad, like your school iPad, you can definitely download it and save this article to your Files app. Create a folder in your Files app, title it Research, save it there, and it will be saved on your iPad. If you're using a public device, like if you're using a cart of MacBooks or something else that you don't always have access to, probably not your best option. Another option for saving, if you come over here, on the right-hand side, you'll see the little share button, looks like a crooked arrow. Click on that, and it will give you options for saving this digitally. Okay, the first one is Google Drive. If you click on this, it will say, like, okay, do you want to save this article to your Google Drive? So the first thing you do is choose your Google Drive, and then it's going to say, do you give Ebsco permission to drop this file into your Google Drive? You simply hit yes, I give him permission, and then the article is saved in your Google Drive. So once again, you can create a folder in Google Drive, title it Research, and start dropping all of your articles into this file, and they're all saved in one location. Another option is the Create Link option. Now, if you are a person who wants to be able to come back to this exact point on the database because you want to have all the tools and be able to search again, you're probably going to want to hit the Create Link button. Now, this is something that you have to be careful about. The Create Link, this creates what is known as a permalink. It is a permanent link that will allow you to get back to this exact point on the database. If you try to copy and paste this URL up top and save that for later, it's not going to work. You're going to click on this link somewhere and it's going to say, sorry, you don't have access to this. The reason being is that a firewall is going to stop you. The district pays money for you to have access to these databases. And if you use this link up here, they're going to think that you're trying to access the resources without having paid to actually be a part of the database. So this down here, this Create Link button, this creates a permalink that allows you to bypass that firewall, so you can simply save this link, click on it later, and it will bring you back to this exact point on the database. So if you want to save links, once again, create a document, title it Research, and start copying and pasting your permalinks onto that document, so that way you can access it later. If you're more of a textile person, like you actually want to have the article in your hand, you can come to the library and you can choose to print your articles. This way you can highlight them or like stack them and organize them however you want. Like if maybe that's just more how your mind works, it is an option. The only thing is, I highly recommend not printing ebooks because obviously those are actual books and that is a lot of paper. So, great option for PDF and shorter articles, but not so much for ebooks. Okay, so now you have found an article that relates to your research. You have saved that article so you can access it later. The next thing you need to do is you have to be able to cite your article so that way you can avoid plagiarizing. And this is another reason that databases are so wonderful, is because they will help you do that. So it's minimal work on your part. So up here on the right-hand side, once again, with all these tools, you see the little cite button? Click on that, and it will create a citation for you for this article. So you can cite it and avoid plagiarizing. And of course, also get a good grade on your research. Now, once you hit the button, you have to be careful because right here it says style. You need to make sure that you choose the correct style of citation for the paper you're writing. So for example, if you're doing English, like if you're doing this for an English class, you're going to want MLA. If you're doing it for like a science or social studies, you're going to want APA. So make sure you double check with your teacher and you get the proper form for citations. So once you have the citation created, simply copy it, open up a document in your Google Drive, title it Works Cited page, and start pasting all of your citations onto that page. Once again, you can go back later and remove them if you decide that you're not citing it in your paper, but it's really good to have them all in one place as you get started, so that way you don't have to go back and find them later. All right, now I know that was a lot of information just from the first database, but once you know how to use one database, the rest of the databases are pretty similar, which is once again why they're so great to use. The second one I want to show you is the research article database. It's got a piece of paper and a paper clip. If you're accessing it at home, there's the username and password. So if you click on it, it's once again, it's going to take you to a home page, just like on Ebsco. You have a search bar. Let's say we are researching censorship. Okay, type it in. It's going to give you a little abstract here about the topic. So if you don't know anything about the topic, it's going to give you some brief background information on the topic itself. If you scroll down, you'll see that the results are already sorted by type. So you have 74 reference articles, 177 academic journals, 1,200 magazines, and so on. So let's say, once again, that's a little bit broad. Let's say I want to do an advanced search. So simply hit that advanced search button that was by the search bar. And let's say we want to search censorship, and we're going to do in the media. There's lots of different types of censorship, but we're going to say in the media. Just like with Ebsco, we have options for limiting. So right here we can limit by publication date. Like I only want things that were published within the last 4 years. Okay? And then of course you can limit by content type, just like we did before. Remember, you can always keep narrowing your search. If it gets too small, you can always remove the limiters and broaden it back up. Okay, so now that I have my limiters on, I have censorship, I want the media, and things published in the last 4 years, I have quite a few less results. So let's say I want this reference article. Simply click on it, and it's going to show you the actual article you can use for your research. Now, if you want to use this article, just like before, we have to be able to save it. First thing right there, see, it looks like a Google button. You hover over it, it says send to Google Drive. So just like with Ebsco, click this button, send it to your Google Drive, give it permission. Say, yes, I do allow Gale research articles to access my Google Drive, and drop that article into your school drive. Put it in that research folder, and then it's saved. If you have your iPad, there's the download option. Download it, put it in your Files app, drop it in the research folder. It's saved. If you're in the library, once again, print. Go ahead and print out that article so you can highlight it and make notes. If you want the link, once again, remember, do not get this link up here. That one's not going to work. If you want the permalink, you have to hit the Get Link button. Okay, it's right there. Hit copy, and then add that link to that research page that you started. So that way you can come back to this exact point on the database. So now you have 2 articles from 2 different databases saved somewhere, either on your iPad, your Google Drive, you printed it somewhere, but those are saved. Now that you want to use it in your research, you have to be ready to cite it. Okay, once again, you see those 2 little quotation marks, just like on Ebsco? Click on that button. It asks, what format do you need? Now we chose MLA for our last one, so that's what we're going to stick with. Hit select, copy and paste it to that document that you started called your Works Cited page, and now you have 2 research articles saved with citations. And you've already made a good dent in your research. That's a really good start. Now there's one more resource I'm going to show you, and this one is called World Book Online. This is an online encyclopedia. This is the only one that requires you to log in no matter what. Right here is the username and the password, which those are the same. It is NGC LIB. Now an online encyclopedia is a bit more of a basic research tool. It's going to give you some basic information, not as many results, but it is a great place to get started if you're really learning about a topic. Once you're in, simply click Advanced, because this is grades 9 and up. That's you guys. So let's say we are researching artificial intelligence. So you can see right here, I only have 32 results for encyclopedia articles, so it's not quite as a wide array of results as before, but it is going to be a good place to get started, like I said. So if you click here, you'll see your encyclopedia article telling you all about AI. Now, if this is something that you're going to want to cite, you need to find the tools in order to be able to work with it. So right up here on the right-hand side, you see that cog. Okay, if you hover over it, it says Tools. This is where you're going to find all of those same buttons that we saw on Ebsco and on the research articles databases. So the first thing you want to do, remember, if you want to use the article, is you need to save it. So there's the option to download as a PDF if you're saving it to your iPad. There's the option to save it to your Google Drive if you have a folder there where you're saving all your articles. Once again, if you want to print it, you have the option to print. Simply hit print. It'll create a print preview page and hit print this page, and it will be ready for you. And lastly, if you have it saved and you're ready to cite it, click Citations. Once again, there is MLA. Copy and paste that Works Cited citation, put it on your Works Cited page, and now you have 3 different articles saved from 3 different online resources with all 3 of the citations. Okay, so remember, it's very important as you conduct your research to do these things as you go, because it is going to make the whole process easier. So if you guys have any trouble during your research unit, if you need any help doing research or finding articles, please stop by the library, because we would be more than happy to help you guys through this process.